everybody. Welcome to Truth Teller Tales, Labor of Love 5.
Number
Right,
5.
Tricia?
Yay.
Believe it.
Oh, I guess we have
And
to be careful doing that sign, don't we?
yes, exactly. But this is just so fun for us always because we like talking to those folks through their love and support, really help the people, the podcasters, the people out there tell their stories and the story of this great awakening and all the crazy things that are happening behind the scenes to make it happen, right, Tricia?
Yeah, we've talked to mods, we've talked to creators
Why?
like Mr. Leota, we've talked to comedians like Jessica,
Yeah,
who's also
yeah,
a great writer with the Substack, and also helping out Melissa Cutler and having a veterans focus on what it's like when you are a spouse who has been left behind and what we need to do to help that movement. So
yeah,
it's been a great 4 episodes, and this one I think is
yeah.
going to be spectacular.
Totally spectacular. And we really wanted to highlight a couple of fellas who are financial angels in this endeavor. And they're just such great, wonderful men. And so we just want to bring them on and start to hear their stories. Dave Micro Toolmaker
Yay!
and John JFAnon. Yay! You guys are the best.
Do you think
No, John's
anybody knows
best.
them? Do you think anybody knows them?
Yeah, I know.
I have no idea. I'm on Rambo Show once in a while. But.
Yeah.
Yes. And and Micro Toolmaker, we see you on various shows, but it's just interesting whenever your names are brought up, and I know we know, Tricia and I and everybody knows that you all aren't doing this for this. But
No.
we just wanted to bring you on just to talk to you and hear your stories, because whenever your names are brought up by any of those podcasters, it's with such love and adoration, and because you help people, their hearts are full, because I think you help people in ways that they'll never even really say how much you affect them and have helped them. So thank you. You're just wonderful fellas. And we just wanted to say hi and talk to you and tell you that.
How much do I owe you for saying all those nice things about me?
None
None of them are true. None of them are true.
Well, they are true. They are. And I just have to say really quickly too, I hear Dave Micro Toolmaker, I hear your name, but I interviewed Josh Reed of Red Pills TV, who's has great information too. And I was listening to him, and he said, all of a sudden he said, "Oh, I'd like to thank Micro Toolmaker." And I'm like, "Oh my God, he's here too." I couldn't believe it. That was so nice. So awesome. So for the folks, just to kind of get to know you more, we just thought we would go down memory lane for each of you. So Dave, tell us kind of about you and your life as a kid, and how your life was growing up as a kid. Just to fill us in.
I don't know if you really want to hear this. Little ones, plug your ears. So I'm a high school dropout, even though my parents owned a private high school.
What?
Wow.
Yeah. So
see that
when I
coming.
was here, I'll just give you okay. So my parents divorced when I was 5. And a couple of years later, my mom started shacking up with this guy that I call my dad now. They never got married. They didn't believe in the paperwork. And but he was truly my dad. They were both instrumental in starting the Libertarian Party early on.
Wow.
My mom was close to Ayn Rand and that group of people, and she used to take shorthand notes of all her lectures and put it in the Objectivist newsletter and help her publish that. And then they started a private high school in the mountains in California, and it was libertarian values based. Ton Stoffel, there ain't no such thing as a free lunch, and They believed in the 4 R's, which I think were reading, writing, arithmetic, and responsibility. And if we had our work done by noon, we could go skiing the rest of the day, and it was really incentive based. But they only had it for my first 2 years of high school, and then we moved down to Palo Alto, like the Silicon Valley area. And my first 2 months as a junior, in government class, I invited a libertarian speaker in, and they wouldn't take him. They wouldn't allow him to come in, and it was just I could see the communism up front and close. And anyway, I had the opportunity to get a job at McDonald's, and I took that and skipped school the rest of the way. And anyway, yeah, so I skipped a lot even before that. When my parents were divorced, and I lived with my biological dad for years, and we moved around. I think in the 6th grade, I lived in 7 different areas, different schools, and it was really easy to cut school then because nobody really knew me for very long. And so I was a real loner growing up most of the time. And anyway, but I've been a real rebel. I remember in Palo Alto when we moved down, they have a big city hall building, 7 or 8 stories high, and they have 3 giant flagpoles up front. And one year, I just remember they have the U.S. flag, and then they had the United Nations flag, and then the California flag, and the UN flag was prominent in the middle. And it just burned me up because, I'd learned about New World Order and all that stuff. And so one night around midnight, I went there and I cut the rope down so they wouldn't be able to fly it. And it took them about, a month to replace it. And then they did it again. I did it again. And after the 3rd time, to this day, you can go there and you'll see there's a lockbox over the rope cleat that you're supposed to tie. And it goes up maybe 10 feet, so you couldn't climb it. But, that's my mark on society as a youngster.
Good for you.
But then, so, like my parents were involved in, there was a guy that started a country near New Zealand. He bought an island, and there were investors. They had a constitution built that was similar to the U.S. Constitution, and the CIA ended up promoting this nearby tribe to come over and take him over. So we lost that one, and then in our county in California, Alpine County in the mountains, one year there was a group that tried to use my parents' address and a few others to stuff the ballot box and put in a new sheriff and create a new country out of Alpine County, California. And my mom's house was on the front page of the San Francisco Chronicle under election fraud. So we've seen a few battles, and by the way, my mom had told this group that they couldn't use her address, but that came out in deposition.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
There he
Oh,
is.
there you are.
You're
No
muted.
sound. That is wild. He was just getting.
Yeah, can't hear you, Dave.
You're muted.
You can
We can't hear.
No.
maybe go
Try-
back, go out, and come back in. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that was what he scooted through some things, some really big things. I want to be like,
Yeah.
wait, what? What?
Those
You
last-
were talking about
Yeah.
that was
dude has
wild.
I mean, that guy has serious bona fides. I mean, he was cutting down the UN flag as a teenager.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and
But
I guess I didn't realize he was in California too, because obviously there's I mean the fight there. I obviously that was years ago. It's not just a new thing where there's been such a fight. Hi,
Hi,
you
can you
hear
hear
us?
me?
yes.
Yay. I set my phone on airplane mode, so hopefully another call won't disrupt it.
Oh, that's what happens to Awaken Outlaw every time.
Okay, so Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm back.
Yes. So keep going. That was we were just talking about that. I mean, that's just so fascinating. Being out in California, if you're not following what you're supposed to be following there, the narrative, obviously it's a fight, and your mom had that fight.
Yeah, I mean, if you think back, Ronald Reagan was the governor of California back in the 60s, I think. 60s, yeah, before he became president. California
Yeah.
used to be, and I think to this day, California is more Republican or conservative than it is liberal. I don't believe
Mhm.
any of the numbers that come out. Just if you go there and just talk to people, that's what you find.
I
Mhm.
think you're right. I mean, I think I don't think we know. I don't think any of the numbers that have come out in the last several elections are reflective of what reality is.
Right,
What people think and how people want to vote. It's been so obscured and manipulated
for
by
sure.
both sides. I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Agreed. And so, Dave, did you have any siblings?
Yeah, I have two sisters. They're both older. Um, and in fact, my biological dad, I just 2 days ago, we got a call from a hospital in California saying they found this guy in his car. Apparently, my dad was evicted from his apartment. He's got some dementia, it appears. I haven't talked to him in
Um,
30 years.
Oh,
And
oh,
anyway, we found that a hospital has got him and he's recovering. And we just overnighted an iPhone to him with my sister's contact and my contact on. And when we go back to Wisconsin this spring, we're going to drop by and try and see him if he's still around. And, he's 88 years old. And, everything happens for a reason. I love him. Like I said, I haven't seen or heard of him in 30 years. And I'm actually excited to see him. So,
wow.
wow.
and in fact,
And how
the big earthquake in 1989 that we moved right afterward, the epicenter was right over the house that he built in the Santa Cruz Mountains.
Oh,
So,
wow.
wow.
yeah,
Yeah, there was the World Series earthquake. I remember that.
it was right. And
Yep.
he got to go when they assessed the damage of the Bay Bridge. My uncle Bob was in charge of the construction company that did it, and he and my dad took some video footage when they did this helicopter ride surveying the damage. That was pretty cool, but I mean, not a great. We were really lucky that I guess because it was the World Series going on, most people were already at home, and the World Series was between the two teams across that bridge, the Oakland A's and the San Francisco Giants. So,
Wow.
That is wild.
yeah.
So after McDonald's,
Yeah.
what were some of your jobs that you went
Well,
after?
as soon as I turned 17, my parents signed a waiver so I could join the Navy. And I went in as they call it an operations specialist, which is a fancy name for radarman. And I went in and worked on the Enterprise for a little bit. I had a fall on a ladder that put me in the hospital. And I've had a back issue since. And, I didn't, I ended up, my career in the Navy lasted 3 years instead of a minimum of four, but everything happens for a reason. So when I got out of the Navy, though, I was homeless for a year or so. In fact, the first few months was in my car in front of my parents' house. But as libertarians as they are, they're not gonna. They want me to pick myself up. So
Wow.
and I ended up. My cousin told me about a guy that they make small tools, and that he's a recovering alcoholic and he'd hire anybody with a story. And I had a story, so they hired me, and I just loved doing what I was doing there. And um, for 7 years, I increased productivity for them and learned the ins and outs. I was the only one there really interested in making small tools, and uh, I ended up creating a business plan that didn't turn into a business, but it turned into a pretty good career where I learned all about not just the tools, but the business, the markets, engineering, and so about that product, I've become an expert. And then the company I worked for decided to close my factory and move it to China. And when they found they couldn't make these tools in China, 6 months later, they became my biggest customer. And that was 25 years ago. And we've been growing ever since. And we've never had a month where we lost money. So,
Wow. Hence Microtoolmaker, the
yeah.
name.
I
God
remember when I
really,
first, yeah, I remember when I
yeah,
first started chatting with you, we were talking a little bit about what you did, and I was like, no, I actually kind of, I understand. I'm in the medical
yeah,
device industry. So.
yeah. We make the smallest drill bits and end mills in the world down to 5 microns, which is about 1/10 the size of a human hair.
Oh,
And we
Yeah,
sell them to medical device manufacturers and aerospace. We just I seen an order go through a month or two ago to SpaceX. I'm not sure what that's for, but
hmm.
sometimes we work with 100 universities around the world that all have micro machining projects because everybody wants to make things smaller and smaller. And yeah, so God has really given me a path that He just puts opportunities in front of me. I've just been a very lucky or blessed person. So,
Hmm.
it's an amazing story.
and I've learned, and I think
Yeah.
along the way I've learned, and I think JFAnon would relate to this. I'm guessing because I think that when you give, if you just hold your hand out, God puts stuff in it, and you just keep it open when people need it. And I think God makes that energy flow through you if you're just open to
Hmm.
to do His will or what you perceive as His will, and that's
Uses
just
you
my
as
experience.
uses you as a vessel.
Yeah, yeah. So it's nothing with me. I mean, like Jeff was saying, there's like personally, I don't really like being on a podcast. I don't like. I mean, it's fun for a bit, but it feels like a lot of work, and and I I'm kind of more of an introvert. So, but it is such a beautiful community, and I love connecting with people, and I'm kind of coming out of my shell. I was at this event with Rambo and Dave and the guys, and oh my God, what an experience! Just the people in this movement are the very best subjects in the world of humanity. Just
Yeah.
And what did they all
beautiful.
tell you too, Microtoolmaker, that all of those podcasters were introverts and didn't want to be on a podcast? Never
Yeah,
thought
that's
they were going to be
true.
doing this. Right?
Right.
Right?
Yeah. So I applaud you guys. Does that hold true for you too?
Uh, um,
No, you're not either. Yeah.
I wanted to do something. I wanted to do something. I've been trying to figure out, instead of just listening to them, I was just, I'm like, there's got to be more. There's got to be more than listening and sharing. It's just, I was
Yeah.
ready to evolve into something. And so God put Ellen and I together. It absolutely. And by the way, I think it started when we were all on the podcast, The Huddle together.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that you
The
were
Oh
Huddle?
on
yeah.
too,
Yeah, we were on with
which
Mark.
is
And the three of us, that's how, and then I reached out to her afterwards with this idea. I said, when you get done, interviewing all of the podcasters and you're running out of people, how about other people that are behind the scenes that contribute as well? And she called me
Right.
back. We had a great call, and then she called me back later and she's like, I want you to do this with me. And I was like, really?
Oh,
So that's,
yeah,
that's fantastic.
most yeah,
Yeah.
most definitely. Because but what it's been fascinating to interview folks who are having the podcast are very similar to the people behind the scenes. They really didn't, to Trisha's point, want to be doing this. Didn't think that they were guys in their own world, but they found Q, or they found this, they found that, and then ended up having podcasts. So it's such a. And I remember when I was at the independent media thing in DC, and I was sitting next to Scott Zimmerman and Steve, Real AF Patriot, and Justice Cometh, all those people. I remember looking at them and thinking, they're they're just really good regular people. They're just really good regular people, and but we've come into this community and it's so loving and so wonderful and so everyone is so supportive and it's just
Mhm.
I feel grateful to be a part of this corner of the internet, you know, for
Yeah,
sure.
we are too. Grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. And so, John, tell us a little bit about you. I, if anyone wants even further scoop, they can watch my interview with you on Truth Teller
Yeah.
Tales. But
Yeah.
there's a whole other audience here that would really love to hear because, you you're just when you talk, you're also just so calm and you say things. And I remember you said a couple things at that interview, and I went, you know, because things to you in your life that happen that were normal don't happen to a lot of people. And so just kind of just give us an idea about you and growing up in your life.
Well, I'm not an introvert. I'll just answer that right away. I love hanging around people and being around people. I get energy from that. But so I grew up in a small town in southern Minnesota. Um, my dad was in a wheelchair. I never saw him walk. Um, but I didn't think anything of that not
Mhm.
until it was probably like a junior or senior in high school. I'm like, I mean, obviously knew it was different, but I didn't have a different experience as a son. He's my dad. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I grew up. I did really well in school. I was sort of a rebel. I quit school in kindergarten. Um,
What?
what happened was the buses would drop all the kids off, and the kindergarten rooms were further away than the first grade rooms, and there was a door right by the first grade rooms. Well, they called that the first grade door, and they wanted the kindergartners to walk all the way around the building outside and come back in. Well, I just never did because why would you do that? And one morning, my teacher was outside. She was standing out in front of the door watching people come in, and I came in from around behind her, and she said, "You need to go back out the first grade door and walk around and come in." And I just walked home. It was like 5 miles, and my mom, and it was probably like October or something, or maybe it was November. It was snow on the ground. I remember that, and I just cut through people's backyards, and my mom would tell the story that the doorbell rings and she goes to answer the door, but there's nobody there. Well, it's because I'm short, right? The doorbell kept ringing, and when I came in, apparently I just took everything off and said, I'm done with school, um, and started watching TV. And yeah, she wasn't happy with the school for letting that happen. But um, I was
Yeah.
a good student though. I did well. I loved to learn. And so yeah, I did really well in high school. Went to Notre Dame. We don't have to talk about the playoff stuff. How they screwed Notre Dame and put an Alabama team that didn't, in my opinion, didn't deserve to be there. But we don't need to go there. Um, but anyway, graduated Notre Dame, and I spent a couple of years working in a family-run business. Not my family necessarily, but a friend of the family. And I had the opportunity to go to the UK and Holland for 3 years. In fact, I was married at that point. Still am married. My wife and I went and lived in the UK for 3 years. I spent 1 week a month in Holland. By the way, I love the Netherlands. I'm sure it's different now. This was 95, 96, and 97, but the people are awesome. So, but yeah, so I was running a kind of their startup operation over there. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. It was learning on the fly and wearing 20 hats a day, and I found that I really really enjoyed that, and I was good at it. Got back to the U.S., worked for that company for a little bit longer, and then decided I didn't want to answer to anybody else. So started a business with a friend. We had a patent on a little kids product. We had one really good holiday season in 2003. That was the only season, um, and then we sold the IP. That was the year I lost my parents in a car accident. So I was 33, and that was like, yeah, what a blow, right?
Shock.
33, and I had never had a blow like that. Life had always been, call it easy, I guess.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I had to. That was a tremendous loss to deal
Changed
with.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but it really, like, up until then, I think I was just kind of bouncing around in life. I kind of knew what I was doing work wise, but I wasn't really reflecting on anything larger than me and my wife and our lives together.
Right.
Wasn't really paying attention to what was going on outside. Even 9/11
Mhm.
that happened prior to that. 9/11 made me think, but it also was like, well, I don't really know, and this is what they're saying. So I was kind of asleep, that during that time. Anyway, long story short, we sold the IP. I took care of my parents' stuff, and in 2008, I bought this company. Um, I was looking for a business. I didn't want to do a startup again, so I wanted a cash flow positive
Mhm.
company, and it's been amazing. I've been so lucky. The team that I have is really what makes this happen. I'm lucky in that my role can just be purely strategic, and I've got people that handle the day to day stuff stuff I'm just not interested in doing, like HR.
Mhm.
It's not. I'm an
Yeah.
HR nightmare, by the way. So, as you might imagine, with all the f bombs.
Aw. Yeah.
Um,
Hey, John.
yeah,
John, that would you say like I when you said you have a great team,
yeah,
that's when we hire people, we don't hire people based on experience or knowledge. We want to know that they can learn, but the number one thing is, are you going to fit in our group? Are we not going to have dramas? Are you going to be able to interact? And this is a business, and we've been very lucky or blessed that we have a team like that. But when you have a team like that, you have success. I mean, almost guaranteed, I think, because it's all focused on the business.
yeah. I mean, the people I work with are. It's. I mean, even to our production guys. I mean, I know every one of them. I know their families. We have a location in Texas, and I know all of those guys down there for the most part. That we've had some turnover in the production area, but um, when I go to hire somebody, you could have a 10 out of 10 on talent. If I have one guy that's 10 out of 10 on talent and he's kind of an asshole, or I've
Yeah.
got a guy that's 10 out of 10 on character and maybe 7 out of 10 on talent, I'm taking that guy every day of the
Yeah.
week. I
Yep.
hire on
Same
character,
here.
always, always, always.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
you talked a lot in depth about this. We did a show together with beer a
Yeah.
while back, and
Yes.
you went very much in detail about your hiring strategies and how much it's paid off for you. If
Yeah.
anybody is interested in, I'm trying to even remember when that was. It was,
I it is such a blur, isn't it? I
yeah,
bet it was it
yeah,
last
yeah.
spring?
Gosh, I don't know. I've like, it seems like I can't even remember what we did last week.
No, I know. I don't know what you did yesterday.
It's
Like you said.
crazy. Um, I
Mm.
was wondering if,
But, you know,
oh, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say to talk about that, what I realized as I went into a couple companies and helped them realize what was going wrong is that if you don't have strong, caring leadership, the people that you with which you are hiring with the integrity and everything are not gonna stay unless the top is also strong and has integrity. And so it speaks
Mhm.
volumes for the 2 of you,
Yeah.
to be able to put together teams like that, because otherwise it wouldn't happen. They wouldn't
And
stay.
and in
Yeah.
today's world, just because that is my day job of recruiting, I get so many conversations from hiring managers, complaining about why candidates aren't loyal, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
Right.
Because there's hardly any companies out there that are loyal. They
Right.
have been beaten up, they have seen their parents beaten
Right.
up. They'll be at a company for 20 some years, they're devoted and, "Oh, sorry, gotta do a layoff. Here's 2 weeks severance." I mean,
Yeah.
the treatment is awful, and so I'm always an advocate for the candidates and at least trying to bridge that conversation to say, "You may say that you have great culture, but they've heard it so many times until you prove it."
Yep.
You
Uh,
know what though? I was at my doctor's office the other day, and we have we use a group they call it MDVIP. So you pay $500 a quarter, and you have these group of doctors that they'll make house calls if you want, but it's a very select group of doctors. And the company he was just talking about, it got bought out by um, um, Goldman Sachs. It's
Yeah.
anyways.
Ooh.
So now he said that it used to be that if they had 12 candidates that are applying to be in this group of doctors, one of them out of every 12 would get through because they looked at how you interact with people. Are you loving and caring? And now that this company's changed hands, they have a new CEO that is only talking about money,
Yeah.
and they're letting everyone come in. And so the leadership at the top and the focus of what they're looking for. If they're looking for just money, people see through that, and you
Mhm.
get in the 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 character of the average people in that company will get diluted. So the good ones will want to leave. And my experience when I worked for a company, we had 4 mergers in 1 decade, and that's what it was. Is everyone wants something for nothing. They buy a company, they think they can do this, do that, put very little investment, and then sell it for some multiple of that. And then the next group, of course, it's in the air now, where all all companies from the highest level to the lowest level, they're trying to get, I'll just say, something for nothing, or be greedy, or charge something but not add value, or that kind of mentality. And it uh it sucks for the people involved below those transactions, and they have to change the leadership to reflect making money. And
Yep.
anyway, I think it's a big part of what's wrong with our country, you know.
Yeah, the value system, because you have people, I think we've all seen it over and over again, where you've got people that will start a business. It comes out of a passion and out of love. And then they kind of get into that machine, and I see it. I worked in the startup world, like since first job out of college was a startup, and it just kind of kept on going. And you get into that, especially the egos. It's like, oh, well, you have to have you have
Yeah,
to grow, and the multipliers come in. And like, when you start to make a profit, it's not enough of a profit. It has to be
right.
exponential. And
Yeah,
they get caught up in it. And then if they're successful, then they're told too, well, in order to get to the next stage, you've either got to go public or you've got to get acquired. And here are all the things that you need to do.
yeah,
And they lose focus of what it is, of the reason that they tried to build their own thing. And then somebody comes along with a nice big price tag, and it's too good to resist, and they buy
yeah,
it, and everything goes downhill from there. And it happens over and over and over again. It's happening with my holistic vet right now, who I was so excited. And I told her, never sell. She
yeah,
sold. I went there, recently. I was like, I could tell. I asked, did you sell?
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
And they've done it with our medical industry. They've done it everywhere. And if
yeah,
you've got very few people that are like, no, I'm never selling. This is a lifestyle company, or I'm doing this for the greater good, and I'm not going to sell my soul. And
yeah,
most people aren't going to be able to turn down the dollars. They're going to be like,
yeah.
I sweat into this, and now this is the payoff, and I deserve it. It's hard to say no to that.
It is.
How
Sorry, I
did
Yeah,
get off
how
on a
did you
tangent.
prevent that, John? How did you stop from doing that?
Money's never been important.
yeah,
I mean, you got to have it to, to pay bills and stuff, but
Yeah.
I've never chased dollars. That's never been my thing. The crazy thing is, though, the less I seem to chase it, the better off the business does.
amen,
Um,
brother.
I pay my guys really well. Like,
Yeah,
our average production guy is probably making, I'm not going to say the number, but I would say I know that it's above average, because um, we have, we might have an opening because somebody moves or whatever. And the last time this happened was a couple of years ago. Um, we had brothers and friends and cousins of people who worked here. They all wanted to be here. They're like, no, we want to come work for you. Um, and so it's great. In fact, last year I had huge turnover. I lost 3 guys to retirement. One guy was here for 47 years. He was my COO.
Wow.
He was
Wow.
here well before I got here. One guy was here for 42 years. One guy
Wow.
was here for 37 years. I lost 126 years, I think that is, in the course of like 2 months. Now I knew it was coming over. I knew for 2 years. We were able to promote one from within. One, we just got super efficient and didn't need the position anymore. And in fact, I kept him on. He came to me. In fact, this is a funny story. So he was my production. He was like my inventory guy, my shipping guy. He a jack of all trades out in the production area. This is a guy that was here for 37 years. And he came to me like 5 years after I bought the company. So 12 years ago. He goes, I don't know why you have me around. He said, you can automate this other stuff and you can do this. And the thing is, that guy'd been here for so long. I said to him, I said, Mark, the stuff you have in your head, the knowledge you have in your head about how things work in this company that you think you've forgotten, your value is that. I said, I'll keep you on as long as you want to stay. So yeah, could I have gotten more efficient and saved dollars and gotten rid of him? Yeah, could have. He even basically said as much to me. But
Yeah.
I didn't. And
That's the difference.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so the guy that I hired from the outside is a good friend of the guy that I promoted from within to be my COO.
Oh,
Because I
nice.
didn't want to do a job posting because how am I going to evaluate, for this role is pretty key. So how am I going to evaluate this guy? Like I knew I knew that was probably, I figured, okay, I'm going to have to do that. But my guy Josh brought in a friend of his, and I'm talking to this guy, and I'm like, this guy's a really good dude, like really good dude. He didn't have any experience in what this new role was going to be, but it wasn't technical. And I figured, well, he can learn this, and it's been a year and a half. He's been great. So
Excellent.
yeah, a year and a half. Yeah, shit.
See, there's that time thing again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just goes. But yeah, my point is that I look at this company as I'm a caretaker in a way. Like, this company provides medical insurance for, I think, 94 souls. So 94 souls are dependent on this business. Not all of my employees, their spouses, their kids. 94
Mhm.
people. So if I'm going to make a decision on this business that would potentially destabilize it, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can take a bunch of money out of the business, and then what if we run into a speed bump in 6 months? So
Right.
no, it's more important that I take care of the business. Yeah, I'm doing well, that's for sure. But I'm not chasing the dollars. I don't.
Yeah.
And
Makes
those
a
people that you're
difference.
looking out for, those guys that you're looking out for, they
Yeah.
know it, and they're looking out for you.
Yeah. Well, and that's why
That's it.
he's got a great referral system. He doesn't need outside people like me.
Yeah.
Believe me, if I could hire a bunch of anons, if I had the openings, I know people I'd hire in our group, in the circles that we run in. I know people I'd hire in a heartbeat.
So
Yeah,
true.
same.
And if there's anybody listening out there, we need somebody to put together a Patriot webpage to buy from one another. We've got
Yeah.
Janice, who's got a frame shop down in Florida that is struggling and does beautiful work. We've got video editors and people that can put together great AI videos. We've got marketers and people that can do websites. It's like, I think it could start out as an easy project. So if anybody is listening out there, here's another way that you could help this community and help all of the, let's buy from one another. It's the same thing that people are doing when they're buying from I don't know if can I say Melaleuca? Is that okay to say the brand name out there? No?
I don't
But
I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah.
but it's kind of the same concept of, let's buy from patriots.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Make it easier to find these patriots.
I don't know if anybody out there needs a tool smaller than a hair, but
I mean, that is wild. That
well,
is
that's one
so
of the
wild.
things
Well,
I thought about giving, and I thought, well, maybe I should have them run ads for me or something. But, can you imagine 2 minutes of wasted airtime of people looking at something that they're never going to buy? So
Yeah.
that went out the window. But I don't know.
yeah. That is
That was kind of my thing.
wild.
Our business, we supply a product. We're in a very small niche. So if
Yeah,
I
you
say
are.
the name, people would know what it is. But we supply to highway and heavy construction guys, mainly infrastructure. Um, but we're such a niche. I mean, I couldn't advertise on. I mean, there's nowhere really for me to even advertise. We
Yeah.
reach out to
Mhm,
architects on an individual basis to get specified.
mhm. Yeah. And so I wanna bring on some pictures and talk, but before we do that, how did both of your businesses, and I'll start with Dave, how did they handle the pandemic? Was it affected at all?
Um, well, business went down. Well, actually, let me start with 2007, 2008. So during the financial crunch, we were off 15%. Most of my competitors were off 50 or more.
Wow.
We lost 3 competitors during that period. And the following years, we grow exponentially, taking on that business, the capacity that we had. But then during the pandemic, it was similar. I think we were off maybe 15 or 20% at its worst. We lost at least 2 more competitors. And when I say competitors, we actually, half of my business is private label. So half of what I make goes to a company that puts their label on it so they can say they made it. So anyone out there that sees a tool of under 5 thousandths of an inch or 2.5 hairs thickness, we made it and they put their label on it. And some of the biggest
Wow.
companies in the world put their label on our tool. Um, but competitor, we don't have a lot of competitors in the smaller range of what we do.
Mhm.
But we survived it. We didn't lay anybody off. We did take, the PPE or whatever it was,
Yes.
the
Keep
incentive to keep employees,
Mhm,
and that helped us get through some rough stretches. But I don't think if they hadn't have offered it, we still would have survived.
mhm. What about you, John?
So I closed on my company April. Actually, we did April 2nd because we were ready to close on the 1st, but we didn't want to close on April Fool's Day. Um, so April 2nd of 2008, right? So what happened about 6 months later? The bottom falls out of the market. Um, it changed banking relationships. It changed everything. Um, our business at that time was almost entirely supplying to public projects, state and federal highway projects. And so we were fine in '09, but the problem is that when the state lets a construction project, when they put it out for bid, or when they put it out for bid, by the time that we were to be able to supply our product into that project is 2 years later. So 2010 hit us like a ton of bricks. Like we were probably off 20%, but I know my competitors were off more. Um,
Yeah.
I know because I hired two in the succeeding years. I hired one guy from two different competitors. But 2011 was a great year for, like, we caught back up relatively quickly. The pandemic, man, that week that they announced the 2 weeks to slow the shit. Um,
Yeah.
that first week was, our phones weren't ringing at all, and we're like, oh, what the hell? The following week, we had an influx of orders in 1 week in March. We've never had a bigger week except for 2 weeks after Trump was reelected in 2024. I'm talking about orders coming in the
Ah.
door. Um,
Yeah.
and so it's kind of funny story. So, I'm in the Governor Seabiscuit state, and they put this mandate on all these businesses that you had to wear, all the employees had to wear masks. It's like, none of my guys, they're like, F this, we don't want to wear a mask. And I said, great, don't wear a mask. Well, yeah, aren't you worried about getting a fine? I said, I'll pay the fine, or I likely would have fought it. But in the summer that year, so it gets hot in our production areas. So we have the big loading doors open, and there are Karens that walk by all the time. I mean, they're not super close, but they can see into the production space. So I had my guys take these big 4x8s and set them up on the doors so that people couldn't look in and see them working without masks.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
yeah,
That-
we did really well. We were probably up. I can't remember the numbers exactly. We were up double percent, like probably 17%.
ah,
20, but we've been up significantly since then. Every year, it just we
Hey, John,
find a way.
how long how long have you owned the company?
17 years.
I got that.
Yeah, until this April, then it'll be 18. But
Is,
Okay.
is
Oh,
News Trees
my.
in here? Is News Trees in here?
He's got it.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. Another 17. Oh, I'm a Fed. I'm a Fed. Oh,
Yeah. That is so interesting. That is very interesting. Okay, so now I want to get to some fun stuff. So first, I want to put this picture up. Um, this you and your wife.
That's my lovely Sandra. Yes.
oh,
Sandy.
Sandy, yes. In our
Oh,
backyard, I think.
Did she
We're-
go to,
wow.
did she go to the event?
She did. And she loved it. And everybody loves her. And now I'm Sandy's husband.
Oh,
that's what
Oh,
happens to introverts.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
That
good
is
with it.
so cool. Well, I want to show this other picture of her. This is such an amazing picture. It's small, but it looks like she's peeking out and looks like it's looking out over to the ocean. It looks beautiful.
Yeah. So that we travel around in our RV a lot. And that's a little park in it's kind of near Pensacola. It's called Ho Hum, and it's got maybe spaces for 10 RVs to roll right up to the Gulf. And that was just a few months ago. Yeah.
wow.
Wow, beautiful.
Did you at
Oh,
Pensacola? That's not too far from where I grew up.
Oh yeah, the place is called Ho Hum RV Park.
Oh, did you ever
Oh,
make
I
it
wonder why they
over?
would.
Did you make it over to the border to Alabama, to Gulf Shores or Orange Beach?
Um
You
trying
got
to
a
remember
great
the route we
campground
took
there.
there. Actually we didn't. We ended up coming in from another angle because I had to visit someone along the way, but we've been through Alabama. It's beautiful. In fact, our RV was built in Red Bay, Alabama.
Oh wow, yeah, I actually grew up in Mobile.
Oh, nice. That's
Yeah,
a beautiful state. We've driven through it a few times and um, some great campgrounds, that's for sure.
yeah. My mom had a place in Orange Beach, and I had some family that came down, and I got to see the campgrounds. Sort of my
Okay.
introduction because my husband's trying to get me into that. So I was like, okay. So I'm kind of dabbling.
Well, kind of
Yeah, but
during the pandemic, we actually got in the RV a lot more.
I bet.
Just, there were a lot of people that were trying to stay away from each other. And I'm trying to remember why I know a lot of people started working remotely. In fact, I have a guy that he's my sales manager, and he had a liver transplant. And I thought it was a good idea during the pandemic, just, in case it is real, because in the beginning, nobody knew.
Yeah,
Just go work at home. And he still works at home, and he's more productive at home than he is at the shop.
yeah,
So he still comes in
Yeah.
every once in a while. He's one of my most talented tool makers. He's the one who actually developed the smallest tool in the world, even though I get all the credit for it. But I taught him everything he knows. He will attest to that. So
wow.
That is wild. I think if I had an RV park, I wouldn't name it Ho Hum. It's not very appealing, but
no.
that's so interesting.
yeah.
So this, are these your
Uh,
dogs?
yeah, and I uploaded pictures to ChatGPT and asked him to draw some action. And I think to the right you'll see three dogs that look the same. That's
Yeah.
just one. So that's
Okay,
but
I was wondering how they were all going to fit in the RV.
yeah, we usually travel with two or three of them. Um, the one in front with well, they all have glasses. No, I can't tell. The one in
White
front, the orange looking one, he's
Uh-huh.
my buddy. That's Bullet, and he travels with us. And the black one on the right, or the three on the right, that's Lizzie. She travels with us. And occasionally the black and white one, Sadie, travels with us.
Oh,
Oh,
Hmm.
they're adorable.
it's
Wow.
That is so nice. Okay, so now I have to get to a couple of these pictures that are so fun. Um, that was
Abs.
on a visit to you.
Barb.
Yes, on the way to that's Abs and Barb, and that was on their way down to Mar-a-Lago. They stopped in, and we took them to lunch.
Oh,
Oh,
that's so
And
cool.
that's so
Barb fell
nice.
in love with one of our goats,
Shadow.
and she tried to put it in her car,
Ah!
but then
So
we
you
were
have
able,
goats?
huh?
You have goats too?
We do. I don't see him walking around. Oh, here, I'll walk over here, show you our goats.
That's
Let's
so
see.
wild.
We've got two bigger ones and one little guy. That's Shadow. And they
That's the
might,
one she tried to steal, right, Barb?
yeah, the two bigger ones are right.
I,
I don't know
I
if you
saw
can
the little
see
stuffed
them.
animal that you brought her, the little stuffed goat.
Oh, I
Yeah, so
see.
can you see them? They're looking at you. Oh, the little
Hi.
one, Shadow, is down here. Let's see if I can get him in.
That is so
Oh, yeah.
wild.
Come here, Shadow. Bye.
Oh.
Now, is that for just pets or fresh goat milk or?
Well, the idea is to get fresh goat milk, but apparently, so the two bigger ones are ladies, and the little one, Shadow, is a guy. And apparently, to get goat's milk, they've got to have a litter first. So
You're still waiting.
that's, yeah, we're still waiting. But it
That's,
started with
that's a
buying,
good breed.
it started
Yeah.
when the egg prices went up. We just talked about getting a couple chickens, and then we kind of went overboard. So we've got, I don't know, maybe 20 chickens and 4 or 5 turkeys, and then we got some ducks.
Oh, wow.
And the goats are recent. They're just in the last 6 months. So
Do you,
yeah.
do you,
Wow.
you must, so when you have those kinds of animals, you get predators. So foxes and coyotes and alligators.
Yeah, I mean, we're watching for those predators, but nothing has really come up yet, but I'm sure they will.
Once the foxes find out, you're in trouble.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of
Is
foxes, but we have seen them in the area before.
So is this real?
is this is this alligator a decoy?
Oh, so that's actually in Wisconsin. Um, in the background is my RV, but that's actually a 3-piece concrete alligator that
Okay.
travels with us.
It
Does he have a
travels with
name?
you.
That one is let's see, we have oh, my memory. We do have names.
Aw.
It's Fred and Ginger.
Oh, nice.
I think that's Fred.
Nice.
Yeah. And
That
then
is
there's little
too
baby Timmy
cute.
somewhere.
That is hilarious. And then so this one is very recent on
Yes.
your the get together with everybody.
Yes. That was amazing.
And so in that picture is you with Joe and looks like Mr. Leota and is
Yeah.
and
Mickey.
Mickey.
who was
Mickey.
Mickey.
Yes.
Mickey Talks
Mickey.
from Mickey
He
Talks.
was he is such an incredible human being. If you hear him and he's so funny and loud and all that, but that guy has got an intellect sharper than a tack. He's something else.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, he just transformed. I mean, that weekend, I don't know whether y'all put something in his drink or what, but he came he came back with a lot of love, and he's completely changing his format. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing to watch. It's
But
I,
I mean, the chemistry was I keep hearing people talk about life changing, and they're right. Um, and I had no idea other people felt that way. But like when we were on our drive back, Sandy and I were talking, and it was incredible. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
Was there any of things that happened that is there any specific moments that stuck out in your head?
Oh, dozens. Every person I met was incredible. I got to meet MedExam,
mm,
um,
Oh,
who
she's
is
all,
just such a doll and
she is.
loves this country so much, and just so many people just And it's like everyone you talk to, you feel like you've known them forever. Just
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's just such
Yeah.
depth to so people like med exam.
yeah,
We had no idea. I mean, like, a doctor. I mean, a
A
doctor,
medical doctor.
yeah,
and she has some amazing stories that we're hoping that she'll get a little bit more comfortable with, because she's just like, people aren't going to believe me. So
right. And there's some things she can't talk about too.
yeah,
She's got real stories that.
yes, she does. Yes, she does.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's wild. You know, and everybody does have such a story, but this group that's gotten together, and hopefully we'll all be able to join you the next time. Everybody has such a similar heart, and I think that when you get together, it just radiates out that much more. So I'm sure. I mean, I felt it in Virginia when you got, sending pictures and
yeah,
stuff. I mean, how cool that is, just to be able to share in person together. What a wonderful feeling I'm sure that was.
yeah. I'm just so blessed that it sold out so quickly. If I waited a day, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. By the time I heard they were going to do it, and then left, and then I heard again it was sold out. I was like, oh,
Yeah. And I get it.
Yeah.
Rambo was talking about, I guess they've been thinking about it for so long. They just decided, look, let's just do it a safe way. It won't be a lot of people, but let's just try it. And,
Mhm.
um, but yeah,
Yeah.
no, it
Well, it just
happened. It happened
proved
the way it was supposed to happen.
yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, John, would you mind sharing some pictures?
No, absolutely. I'm happy to do. I have to say, so you're talking about people getting together and how that ends up, yeah, how it's just such a great experience. I went to the very first Thread Fest that Patrick Gunnels put on
Ah,
In Nashville, and until then, like I didn't know any other anons. I'd never met any in the in the real world. And
Yeah.
man, you go and you're like, oh, that was you, or you're on X or Twitter, and you're this guy, and the sort of sense of family is inescapable. I mean, that's really the thing. It's like you're with all these people, and maybe you have different, like, smaller, less important viewpoints, but you're all coming from the same place of shared value. And so that's where I met beer, and because of beer, I met Brian Cates, I met Kyle Just Human, I met a bunch of people, but because of beer, I get invited onto a Zoom call, and then I started meeting all these other people, and they're like my family, you guys included. It's
Mhm.
it's so cool how that works. So yeah, I really wanted to get down to Florida for this. I just couldn't make it happen, family stuff. So in between
Yeah.
Thanksgiving and Christmas is just we're just jammed. So, but
Yeah. Well,
But they were talking
we'll all
about
get
doing something
together.
in Minnesota at Quinny's, right?
yeah, I'm actually going to go to Quinny's this Saturday.
hey,
Are
I'm
you?
getting. You guys know how to get hold of Quinny, because we'd like to have her on the show. Quinny, if you're watching,
Yeah, I'll give
like,
you your number. I'll give you a number. I've got her number.
thank you.
Yeah,
Yay,
yeah.
Ellen, we got that one.
I would love for
Yay.
that to happen in
We got to get
Hey,
Minnesota.
Quinny. I
John,
mean, look at
Yeah,
what Quinny's doing up there,
you
man. The
you
movement,
you
and
know Q Digger.
she
yeah,
videotaped right after that church shooting and showed
Wait,
us the truth.
yeah,
okay, hold on one sec, John. You know Q Digger.
yeah. I had lunch with him like 2 months ago.
Yeah. So he and I are brothers. So he was the first one in the Anon community that I'd talked to on the phone.
Yeah,
And the first time we were on the phone, we were like little girls for 3.5 hours.
yeah,
Just well, I called him because we ended up online in the chat, found out we have the same birthday. So he's like my big brother, I'm little brother. And but I was on the phone with him just today and we were talking about Quinny's and him knowing you or meeting you. And anyway, I'm looking forward to getting up there. We were supposed to visit him on our way back from Wisconsin, but we couldn't make it. But
yeah. The snow is here, and although it
yeah.
looks nice, the retards are out driving in force.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's terrible.
I bet.
My
I
commute
bet.
my commute 3 nights ago. My commute without traffic is 22 minutes. With traffic might be like 35 minutes. It was an hour and 40.
Wow.
Uh,
Eesh.
yeah,
Wow.
So
because of snow and
yeah. I mean, the roads weren't great, and so everyone's driving like 5 miles an hour on the highway.
right.
Yeah, real fun.
I
Yeah.
remember those
Yeah.
days.
Yeah, look at you with your lanai right now with the palm trees in the background.
I know.
I see it.
John,
I'm
don't you
sorry.
just want to reach out and like throttle him right now?
Yes.
Well, we'll
All right,
probably have
John,
to
we'd love
fly
to
up
see
to
pictures.
Wisconsin. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you continue that because
I
I can't wait for us all to get together. I mean, that's just going to be just so much fun. And wherever it is, I know we're bound to figure out a way to get there. You
yeah,
know?
I was just going to finish off by saying, as much as I don't miss the weather up there, we'll probably end up going up there for a week or so after the New Year's, just for business, and hopefully it's doesn't have as much snow then.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet on it.
I know.
Well, if you're going to be in the area, in the metro, I'd be happy to try to find a way to meet.
If there's any way I can get that far, we'd be going to southern Wisconsin, but what is it, about 5 hours going that
Yeah,
way?
that's not a short, trivial drive for
It's
sure.
not
But
too bad if it's summer drive, but if it's snowy, then who knows?
no, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes
But
a big difference. Okay,
but if
John, we
there's an
want to see
opportunity, I
pictures.
will. Yeah.
Pictures. Okay. So for the audience, when Ellen was saying, "Yeah, get some pictures," and it would just show some pictures, and maybe when you're a kid, and so I'm like, I got to go find the pictures. And
Yeah.
we moved into a new house 2 years ago, and the other night I went downstairs to look for the photos. I'm like, well, where are they? And my wife is like, well, they're in one of those 10 boxes that we haven't even unpacked yet. And we weren't great at putting photos in albums. And Gen Z isn't going to get this at all. But we didn't have digital photos. It was 35 millimeter prints. And so I've got boxes and boxes of those. And there was no way I could go through those in the last 2 nights and find anything. But
Yeah.
the other thing is, I don't really, I'm not a go back and look at pictures kind of guy. I think I was saying it pre-show. Like, I even had trouble finding pictures with me in it, even on my digital stuff, because I'm usually, if I'm taking a picture of something, is of something I want to remember, a scenery or something like that, or whatever. But yeah, so I don't have that many pictures of me. But like I said, I'm always kind of a look forward guy as opposed to looking back. So.
Yeah.
I'm just chuckling a little bit, John, because you're going to be leaving all of those boxes of photos for your children to dive through. When
Yeah, I know. I've got my
that's
one.
what I just went through. That's what boxes and boxes and hours.
I will say this: after my folks died, my mom had kept a lot of things, and so we really don't have that much stuff. It's just we've got these boxes of stuff that we thought we needed, and now that we haven't opened them in 2 years, maybe we just pitch them all. I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff like that, but we are not my parents in terms of, I'm not going to be leaving hours and hours and hours of work. So it's not kind of a morbid topic.
No. Oh, cool. Okay. Yay.
So I grabbed a few. This is our first trip. This is my daughter Anna and I. We did a father-daughter trip to Yellowstone, and
Beautiful.
those are the Tetons in the background. And I
Wow.
put this in here because this picture is really important to me, because it was the first year of us being able to starting on our road trip. So we would have these road trips together, and this would continue even through last summer. And so I think she was 12 at this time. I got to have 14 hours each way of dashboard time with my daughter. And all that
How
time,
cool.
8 or 10 days in the Tetons. So we did Yellowstone this first year, and then we decided, she said, Dad, I see all these people fly fishing. We should learn to do that. And I'd always wanted to do it. So we learned together, and now that's what the focus of our trip is. So
Awesome.
this is Anna. This is probably 2 years ago. Yes, that's my thumb shadow on the top of the frame there. We're fishing Yellowstone Lake. That's our buddy and our guide, Brian. But the cutthroat population on Yellowstone Lake, they're big. This is probably a 21-inch fish. But we've caught
Wow.
24-inch fish there. It's just fun, and the lake is so
That's
clear.
awesome.
I was
So-
just gonna,
Wow.
I was gonna say I was so amazed at how clear the water was there. Growing up in the South, like we don't have clear lakes, and like I couldn't believe how clear the water was, and that you could see down below and see all the fish.
Yeah, you can sight fish these fish. And
Wow.
we had one day, and it might have been the morning of this photo, where the lake was like glass, and so we were dry fly fishing, and if you can catch trout on a dry fly on a lake, it's really something, because they come up, they don't slam it, they just come up and they kind of like inhale it, and yeah, this was so much fun.
Wow.
So cool. Aw, so fun.
There's another one.
Love that. Yes.
So anybody that's ever seen me on Rambo knows how much I'm a World War II guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the weekend before my son was born, there was an air show in Minneapolis, and so I took my daughter, and I saw this plane. This is a B-17. If you guys have ever watched Masters of the Air, this is the focus. This aircraft. So the funny thing is, we walked around, we walked through the plane, and as we walked out again, one of the pilot guys was standing there, and I said, "Do you guys take people up in this?" And he's like, "Well, we have a flight at 3:30, which is about a half hour from this time. We have a flight at 3:30. I don't know if there's any seats. You have to go talk to the guys in the tent." So I took my 3.5-year-old daughter, and we went over there, and I said, "Do you have any seats left?" He said, "We have 2." I said, "I'll take them." And he said, "Well, who's going?" And I said, "Myself and my daughter." And he looks down at her, and he's like, he looks up at me, and he said, it's really loud. It might be unsettling. And I said, "I think she'll be fine." And she looks up and she said, "I'm very curious about the B-17. This kid she's been talking since she was like 1. So,
Wow.
so here's
Oh,
Anna
That's
in the
so
radio
adorable.
operator seat.
Oh,
Yeah. This is the Bombay right here, the little walkway you go up to the front. And then just here's a shot
wow.
looking over the
Wow.
Twin Cities from the top turret.
wow.
So
Now,
cool.
the crazy thing was, like 3
Awesome.
years ago, so this plane was called the Yankee Lady. 3 years ago, the Yankee Lady was back in town. My wife and daughter were on their trip. So I had my son. My son has special needs. This is why we have these separate trips with Anna. So we went to go see the B-17, and we flew in the B-17.
Oh,
So there's Michael
That's
in the bombardier
amazing.
seat flying
Oh.
over Lake Minnetonka. If you ever watched Prince,
He doesn't look scared at all.
no, he had a great time. We took off with him in the front nose like that. It was so cool.
wow. That's amazing.
That
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah,
Wow.
Ray Spinner. Yeah, and again, I don't have
That is so
here's my-
cool.
yeah, it was so much fun. Michael still talks about it. By the way, doesn't this look a lot like the Millennium Falcon?
I was going to say that.
It kind of has that same sort of, supports and ribs and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
They must have designed that movie with that background in mind.
I think they did.
Yeah.
This is the first selfie I've ever taken. It was 2015, my first archery elk.
I think it was the last of the elks.
Yeah, he's right here above me, hanging in a European mount.
Oh,
So I
that
just
is
got
so cool.
Yeah, I just got all kinds of hats hanging off of him right now. In fact, I've got a Microtoolmaker hat.
Hey, look at that.
Oh, I'm
That's
liking
awesome.
this. Ella, we might have to get some of those for future
So,
stuff.
yeah.
So just
Aw.
you asked for stuff that was representative or important to me. So this is me in New Zealand.
Look at that.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wait,
it's a
that's
red
in New
stag.
Zealand?
That's in New Zealand. Yeah, it's a red stag.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks. Keep in mind, I'm like 4 to 5 feet back, so it is big, but it's not any larger than that elk. In fact, it's a little bit more compact, a lot more bone, but a lot more compact.
Microtoolmaker. How
Yeah.
did they not get migraines?
What?
Those horns, like You know, like, I just keep thinking, like if I have a
Carrying
hat
that.
on that's too tight, a headache, and I look at these animals that have these
Oh,
huge, antlers, and I'm like, isn't that
yeah.
hurt to
If I get a
carry?
migraine, I have to take my hat off. I can't wear my glasses because just a little bit of pressure. I can't imagine.
I mean, doesn't that make your head hurt looking at that?
That's
Yes.
a
It's a lot
beast.
to
That is
carry
tough.
Yeah,
around.
that's a big one. That was a lot of fun.
Now, John, do they shed those every year, or
Yes. Yep.
that's what I thought.
Yep.
So they,
All the ungulates, so elk, moose, deer, they all drop antlers and then they regrow again.
Wow, that's
So
crazy.
Wow.
they need
I
to figure out. Farming needs to, if they want to do something good, like figure out how to synthesize that for all the bald men out there. Sorry.
so this
So
is a
cool.
Arapaho ram that I also shot a ram there and I put it on my head
Oh,
and my guide
wow.
was like, he goes, "Oh, don't do it. Yeah, don't do it, Mike. Don't do it." And I'm like, oh, I put it on. And then the smell. These things stink so bad. I stunk for a
Oh,
day.
I bet.
That's his head.
What's that?
Oh my.
Yes.
Okay. No.
I hope you don't
Somebody's
mind,
going to accuse
John.
me of
No,
being
y'all were not having
this.
any celebratory libations, right?
No,
I'm
this is
taking screenshots of these. These
we,
are just amazing pictures.
Wow.
yeah, they're pretty cool. So now someone's going to accuse me of like, being a Baphomet or some shit. No, I just killed a really cool looking ram. That's all.
Looks like you're giving him a
Wow.
piggyback ride and he's having fun.
Yeah, well, it's only his head and his mohair.
Oh yeah, you do
yeah.
kind of look like you've got an elongated skull.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is wild. Oh my
So
gosh. Is that
so I
it?
was
Do you have more?
I was desperate to try to find a couple more photos that of me, and I found one from like maybe 10 years ago. I was in the process of shaving off my beard, and I took everything down to look like an Amish guy, and then I took a straw hat, and I'm Amish.
Oh,
You know,
geez.
Oh my God.
that someone's gonna screenshot that and have fun with you, John. You know that, right?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm doing that right
damn it! Let's
now.
get it off the screen. So this is my last picture. I as I was scrolling through, I saw this one. This was probably 2 years ago in New Mexico, and New Mexico chasing elk is my happy place. And like I can see my face there. I'm just like, man, I'm really at peace there. So
You're in your zone.
yeah,
That's awesome.
That is so awesome. Thank you for sharing. That was just
yeah.
Yes.
so
Thank you.
great. I love that. That's so fun.
That was awesome.
Well,
Wow, that was awesome.
it really was. So I have one last question before we head out. What in general are your thoughts, each of you? And I'll start with you, Dave. What are your thoughts about just in general the time with which we are living right now? Are you feeling optimistic about it? Are you feeling negative about it? I know the group, our mindsets are pretty similar about things, but what are your thoughts about right now?
Well, I hope other people share this, but I have never, ever in my life been more optimistic than I am at this very moment. It is, I, I mean, just look at a couple of data points. Look at silver, for example. I've been part of this, the financial component of this. I've been watching silver for 15 or 20 years specifically because of the the rigging of prices. And that component just started unleashing last summer. And then looking at Trump and the Q posts, how more and more recently he's been becoming very open about where he is in that, wearing Q things on his collar and reposting some of our friends. And so, before it was all very theoretical. We're watching this, we're listening to Q. Yes, that fits. This is amazing. But then the rubber meets the road when you actually see these things happening. And man, they're happening. And I don't expect them to slow down. So I'm super optimistic. Yes.
Yay! I totally agree. What about you, John?
Oh, I'm the same way. people hate it when, well, some people hate it. I catch brickbats for saying we're watching a movie, but I think we're watching a movie. It doesn't mean that everything's controlled, but
Right.
I mean, all of the psyops that are going on right now are meant to be divisive. They're meant to cause chaos. So that's why we see the Candace and the Charlie Kirk and all this stuff. But
Mhm.
like Dave said, I am more optimistic than I've ever been in my life about any of this stuff. I can feel the ending coming, but there's no way to parse out exactly what's going to happen. I put a thread up
Right.
on
Right.
Sunday or whatever about election integrity and how Venezuela might fit into that. I mean, that's just one possibility. It's coming.
Mhm.
It's coming. All of this
Mhm.
bullshit about Epstein files and stuff, they're using that for a reason. I don't know that we could certainly guess, but no, I'm just sitting back comfy.
Well, and we're close enough now where before I used to look at, all the Q proofs and all the ties and try and figure out what's coming up next. But we're so close now that pretty soon we're just going to look back on it and say, okay, that's how they did it. Very cool.
Yeah.
So I'll let them do the work.
Yeah. Well, and I think as we all probably feel it, and John, I know a little bit about like where you are in the movement and then the people around you, because
Mm.
I'm alone. I mean, I'm in terms of where I am versus my spouse,
Yeah.
so I'm looking forward to him coming along and, not thinking his wife is such a crazy lady. So,
Yeah,
and
I
we all
have.
have people in our life, and it's closer, or it's some family member or friend or something. I think we're all affected by that. But when I look at people that are actually like a couple that are in this together, I'm just like, oh my gosh, what's that like? You're so lucky. So,
Yeah, you and I have the same thing.
yeah.
My wife is she thinks I'm nuts, and I am, but not to the degree that she thinks, not maybe in the same way.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I think,
Yeah.
but
yeah,
Well,
I hope that changes. I think it will, but you
Yeah,
know,
it will.
I
And
think it will too. It will.
yeah, when even now things are popping up to where I have like most of my employees, none of them are deep in it like I am, but most of them are uh, been watching and a little bit skeptical. But now that things are happening every week, one of my guys says, "Hey, did you see Trump did this?" And they're kind of excited because it's fitting the mold that I've told them to be watching for. And so, yeah, it's going to happen with the spouses if
mhm.
they're intellectually
Yes.
honest. If they're not part of that 4 to 6%.
Right. Well, that's the question, right?
Yeah.
no, please don't
Mm.
stick me with one of those. Oh,
No, you won't be with one of those.
No, I don't
No.
know that I know anybody that really would be in that. I know plenty of people who think I'm crazy for believing Q, and I don't even talk that much about it anymore. But um,
Yeah.
I don't think I know anybody that's so far gone that they're not going to come back.
Same.
So
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's why also the narrative, they're wrapping good news with bad news because they couldn't come in and say, you know, satanic, horrible, child trafficking, all this stuff. So they're coming in and planting the seed about things through the Epstein stuff, right? But then they're also talking about no income tax and getting and health things and so I think they're studied this psyop on exactly how to present it to the world. They have it down pat, obviously, as to how they're going to present it, how they're going to get it out there. But I'm just so grateful. I know the three of you feel the same way to be able to have a front row seat to
mhm.
see that we know this is coming, however it's going to play out. And it makes me smile from ear to ear just to know what's coming. And it's just and I think that adds to our giddiness when we get together because we know it's so God focused and we all see it and it's just such a wonderful feeling to be alive right now and to share it with folks like you. You guys are the best.
Yes, you guys are the best.
You guys rock. Thank you.
So thank you all. Tricia and I are so grateful, aren't we, to be able to spend some time with these fellas?
oh, and the great thing is that we don't have to be right or wrong. We don't have to be good at decoding. We can we found our purpose to talk to other people and to see the people behind the face or the name. And I'm more and more just feeling like this was meant to be. This is where we're supposed to be. Because I tried to do the getting in the cues and the decoding, and it's like that's not my talent.
Right.
I can watch it, and I love watching the guys get together and like having the panels, and then watching them work when I have the time, watching them work.
Yeah.
And then like it's a beautiful thing, and everybody brings such a different skill set, and that's why I think what we're doing is we're figuring out what it is that God wants us to be doing as far as our piece of it. And I think more and more is being put in front of us. Ellen and I aren't planning 6 months out. We're sort of we're being guided. I believe we're being guided.
Well, if you think about it, in the beginning, talking about digital warriors and a new media and all that, you guys are right where I think a lot of people should be. And I can't do what you guys do, but I can support people like you and strengthen and build and help prop you guys up. That's something I can do. So
we are yes, thank you, everybody. And I know you guys don't like to take the kudos, but we're gonna thank you.
Yes, because it takes everyone, and it's divinely written that we all have these talents and we all have these abilities, and we're all able to participate in the way we're supposed to be participating. So thank you so much for sharing time with us. It was so wonderful. And thank you for your continued labor of love. You all are just wonderful. And you mean the world to us, Tricia and I, and so many others. So thank you so much for all you do.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for
thank you
having me.
guys.
Bye.
Take care.
We'll talk to y'all soon.
See you guys.
Okay.